Hi everyone. Have you ever wondered what it must have been like to be an apostle? I mean, think about it for a minute. These men were, in many cases, illiterate, working hard labor jobs, and then before they knew it, they were being called by the Lord of the universe to come and follow him. And as the gospel accounts show us, this educational process for them was often slow and cumbersome, not reaching its fulfillment until the Lord had ascended and the apostles experienced that first Pentecost. Well, that might be very hard for many of us to understand and imagine today. But then again, what if you were a relative of one of those apostles? What would you think then? Well, we're not given many descriptions of the reactions of family members to any of the apostles. But there are a few, and one of them we celebrate on February 17th. This woman is the holy Mariamne, and she is the sister of the apostle Philip. Now, the apostle Philip and St. Bartholomew, another apostle, were going together to a number of places. And they met up in Lydia, and then from Lydia they went on after that to Phrygia, after rendezvousing with St. John the theologian, and all of them began preaching in the area. Well, eventually, St. John the theologian departed after having worked many miracles and converted many people along with the other two, and Mariamne stayed with her brother Philip and with Bartholomew as they entered into a town called Hierapolis. Hierapolis was a very, very pagan city in Phrygia, and it was causing lots of problems for the apostles. The people there were worshipers of serpents, scorpions, things like this. And no, I'm not referring to statues of these things, but instead to live vipers. Now, this was, of course, very problematic for the apostles, and there was even one extremely large viper that was slain as if by a sword by the prayers of the apostle Philip and his beloved sister. She seemed to have traveled with him everywhere he went. Well, things weren't going very well, though, in Hierapolis, because after they had actually slew a number of the vipers and other serpents there with the power of their prayers, they were then accused of interrupting the religious situation of the city. In fact, many of the priests who were acting as worshipers and intercessors with these extremely false and venomous gods came to the mayor of the city and complained about Philip and about Bartholomew and about Mariamne. Now, there was a man named Stachys who had been converted by St. Philip, both by his prayers and that of his sister, of spiritual and bodily ills, and they were actually staying at Stachys' house. Well, the mayor was so upset by what was going on that he had them dragged out of the house, all three of them, burned down Stachys' house, and then took to the streets, dragging Philip and Bartholomew and Mariamne before beating them and having them thrown into prison. Well, when the trial began, they stripped both Bartholomew and Philip because they thought they were magicians and had some kind of the magical appurtenances on their persons, which of course they did not. But when they came to do the same to Mariamne, it is said that she became as a flame to them, and it so startled them that they would not go near her. Well, eventually, the mayor of the area decided that they were indeed worthy of death. So they crucified on the walls of their temple both St. Philip and St. Bartholomew, leaving Mariamne to sit and weep at what she was seeing before her. At that point, an earthquake erupted around the temple and frightened everyone. And so the people that were doing the crucifixion rushed to take the two down from the wall. Well, St. Bartholomew they could do rather easily because he was crucified close to the ground, but St. Philip, they were not able to do this. So Philip at that time passed his soul to God, where of course he dwells with the Lord to this day. Bartholomew and Mariamne hung around the city for a while and eventually left and went into Armenia, where St. Bartholomew met his death by crucifixion. But fortunately for the church in that area, he had appointed Stakis, the man whose house had burnt down, as the bishop who carried on his work. Mariamne went on after Bartholomew was killed suddenly and still converted many, many people before her ultimate repose. We're not sure how old she was. We're not sure exactly what year she died, although we do know that her brother Philip was crucified and died in AD 71. She is but one of the relatives of the apostles that we know about. There are some others, but she has come down in the tradition of the church as being a definite light, a sister to Philip, a mother to all of us. And by her prayers, may we emulate her example to endure the things that seem very unpleasant to us, yet never failing to continue to preach the Lord's gospel until the very end. Bye-bye.